Write a program that gets the user score. Score between 0 to, okay? And if there is anything after 1, then we have to say out of range error. Okay? So first to get the input from the user. Okay? Let's say score equal to float, convert the input, get the numeric grade. Okay, so this will get the input and convert that input into floating point. Okay, so now we have to check whether the score is between 0 to 1. If it is 0 to 1, then it is going to say different conditions. 0.9 means A, 0.8 means B, like that. Or else, so the condition is going to be the score should be the score value. If it is less than 1 and the score value is greater than 0, in this condition, it is going to say multiple things. Or else what it has to say. Or else you're entering 1, 2, then the 2 is obviously greater than 1. So this condition will become false, right? This condition will become false. So we have to give the else condition. Let's take care of that first. Print. So if you look at the output, if you verify the word documentation, your output, always verify your output to see how you have to write your code. It is simply saying error, right? So I can simply print error. If I say out of range, those kind of things should be given, then you can say, but simply error. Okay, so if this condition is true, we are going to do multiple ifs. If this condition is true, we are going to check another condition. What is that? Whether the score value or equal to, greater than or equal to 0.9. Okay, compound condition. So inside this condition, if this is true, so both condition number 1 and condition number 2, both are true. In that case, it will say the letter grade is A. Okay. Now let's come out of the loop. 2 levels of loops are there. So we are coming out of this loop. Now we are in the first loop condition. Okay. We skipped the second loop. Now we are in the first level of loop. So again, we are going to the first level and giving the second set of condition. If the score is less than or equal to 0.8, greater than or equal to 0.8, then it is going to be letter B. Okay, similarly, we can come out of the loop and just make sure that the indentation in the same level, 4 indentation. So this belongs to this second loop and this belongs to this. So this is the function definition. So just this first practice will help you to understand this function. This is the definition that this is the block that belongs to this, and this all blocks belong to this if condition. So you have to be familiar with this. And 0.7 means C. Then skip the indentation. Make sure it is 4 level indentation. And then 0.6 B. Okay, and then elif you can give everywhere. You have to add elif, except the first one. Elif So Jupyter Notebook, if the indentation level is wrong, it will show you the error message. If it is less than 0.6, then the letter grade is, yeah. Okay. Hopefully, this should take care of everything, all the given conditions. All the out of range and everything will be taken care here. So if I run it, if I say the correct answer, correct value, then it would give the correct letter grading. But if I give out of range, oh yeah. So the P has uppercase, could be that. Okay, so you can see it says error. And this does not solve the problem. What if you give anything that is not numerical at all? Here you have solved the problem, how it can be like, it cannot be out of score. It can be only 0 to 1. That we have solved by the if condition, else condition. But here, if you give A instead of any string, for example, I'm just giving A. So here it says that I cannot convert that string to float, right? So this has to be taken care. So this is what the second problem is about. So if you read the second problem, rewrite the previous program using try and except so that your program handles non-numeric values. Also, your code should display a message for out-of-range numbers by printing different messages. Instead of saying error, it should say, please enter a number between 0 to 1. The following shows two examples of output. Okay, so just refer the output. If that is out of range, it should say this. And if it is letter grade, then it should say this. Okay, so we are going to use the try and except method for this. So feel free to copy the code from the previous problem. Maybe I'm just going to copy all the code. And I'm going to add whatever is needed here. Okay. So here the problematic code is going to be this, right? It can be, and if they, what will happen if they enter the string? So this is the problematic code. So here we are going to add try. Since there could be any problem, that maybe they may enter string. So we need a special focus here. So we have put that. And since it is definition, a block of code, it should have an indentation. The next structure is except. So if you look at the structure, what I have mentioned, in the except, what message should be displayed? Okay. So what it has to say, print error, please enter only numeric value or enter numeric values only. Okay, so this is the message that has to be displayed when something happens. That is, error is caught. Or as the normal regular coding, right? Regular code. So which we have already written. But this regular code, again, it comes under this definition, block definition. So there should be a tab here. Okay, there should be a tab here. I think after that, all the tabs should have the extra tabs. One tab, elif. So this understanding is important, where the definition starts, where it starts and where it ends. So you have to gain this understanding, where the conditional statement starts. So in other programming language, it will be very clear with the opening braces and closing braces. Okay, so where you can see, okay, this starts here and this ends here. But here in Python, there is no braces to say that it is end. If it is come out of the indentation, then that means it is end. Okay, and else, this else, that also, that comes with this level, right? So this if is in the same level of this else. And these ifs are in the same level. So here we also want something like, instead of simply saying error message, it should say, please enter a number between 0 and 1. Okay, so I'll make it clear again. What is the problem? Where the problem may occur, that should be inside the try block. And what message needs to be displayed, how it needs to be handled, that should come under the except block. And then what if there is no error in the normal flow, that should be in the else block. Okay, so I have just changed the indentation because this comes under this. If this if comes under this else. Okay, this is nested else if concept. So I have changed the indentation. If I run this code, let me run with the same output what I have given. For 45, if I say 45, say it should be between 0 to 1. Let me run it again. If I say yay, then it's under except, yeah. I don't know what happens. Okay. Say that. Yay. Okay. So it says numeric value only. And then let's give a normal valid input. 0.9. So all the 4 outputs are verified. All 3 different types of outputs are verified. Write a program that takes 2 inputs that correspond to a patient's systolic blood pressure and total cholesterol. Determine if the blood pressure is normal, pre-hypertension, or stage 1 hypertension, or stage 2 hypertension, according to the Mayo Clinic report. So I have given you the link. So if you copy this link and if you just open that link, it will direct you to this page where you can find the table that explains what is type 1, what is type 2, that chart, you can get it from this. Okay. Also, determine if the total cholesterol is desirable, borderline, high, or high according to the Mayo Clinic. So that is different. I have given another link. Open that link. Oh, my mouse is not working. Okay. So if you open this, you can see the high cholesterol. That is another chart. So where you can see the desirable borderline high. Okay. Not LDL. We are just focusing on total cholesterol and the blood pressure. Look at this table. Now we'll discuss the solution. How can we solve? We are going to handle two different inputs. Maybe you don't need to take both together. You can handle it separately for this problem. Maybe first get the blood pressure. Okay? First get the input for in. Obviously, this is the right. So just let it out. Table 120 normal. Okay, so the condition less than 120, then normal. Greater than or equal to 130. 130 and less than 139. That is, it is pre-hypertension. If it is greater than 140, left one, and this one. So greater than equal to 120 and less than or equal to 139, then it is free. So, and if it's above the table, then it is stage 1. Then it is stage 2. These are the conditions. Okay. So based on the condition, you can see what you have to choose. Need, obviously, there are multiple conditions, so you have to go for it. Then input. So, theta. According to the table, it is desirable. And less than or equal to 239. Okay. Then it is 5. Yes. So see what you get. These two input, it should give you the result, output. So refer the output. Refer the output. It should be like this. So you have to write your code accordingly. Okay. So first we're going to get the blood pressure. We are creating a variable for blood pressure, and that should be integer. And here we are prompting the input. Enter the blood pressure. Okay. So this is to get the input. Now condition. What is the condition? If, let's give it in the bracket to make it clear. If BP is less than 120, okay, then colon, tab, print. So the exact one is, if you look at the output, it should say like this. Systolic blood pressure. Okay, and it should say the number. The number, you can do the string concatenation, or you can use the plus symbol. The BP value, whatever is entered, that will get converted to string. They normal. Okay. So in the next, the same level, in the same levels, you can do the other condition, which can be ellipse. Okay, so L, if, here the condition, you have to apply two conditions. If it is, blood pressure is greater than or equal to 120 and blood pressure less than or equal to 129, then in that case, we have to say it is pre-hypertension. Pre-hypertension. Okay, again, ellipse. Conditions. So let's add ellipse. And this condition is between higher than 130, right? So you have to say greater than or equal to 130 and blood pressure is less than or equal to 139. That means between 130 to 139. In that case, it is going to be stage 1. Hypertension. But it will improve the readability. Even when you do the debugging, your code should be readable for you so that you can easily understand and do the debugging. Okay. So always maintain some consistency in spacing, everything. Okay. Next, blood pressure between 139 to 140. Okay. So we have already done 139. So this is going to be greater than 140, greater than or equal to 140. We missed that 140 port here. So we are including greater than or equal to 140. So here it is going to say stage 2 hypertension. Okay. So this is done. So it's not that much complicated problem. It's easy, but just two problems in one. It can be given as two problems, but we are solving two cases in one problems. Okay. This one? Yes, thank you. So BBP, thank you. Okay, so let's do the next one where we're going to get cholesterol, right? So COL, let's say cholesterol, COL. This is also integer. And here we are prompting the user to enter the total cholesterol. Okay, total cholesterol. And then here we have multiple conditions. The one condition, first condition, if COL, the condition, always I recommend you to use the bracket to make it clear. If the cholesterol level is less than 200, that is a condition. And here we're going to print. If you look at the output, you can see enter your total cholesterol and it says total cholesterol desirable. So you have to have the string concatenation as it is. Total cholesterol colon string the value, concatenating the value, and then it should say desirable. If part, we can give the condition COL greater than or equal to 200 and 39. Print. line. Okay, and then finally, you can give it as else or you can say elif. I can say L. So that is an option. Either you can go with else or you can say elif. Since it is also a condition, you can say uh, greater than or equal to 240. Anything but anything above the 240 can be I. Okay. So let's save and run. Let's use the same output given here in the sample 120. Run. Since there are two outputs, it says the processing symbol. Cholesterol, what is the level that they have given in the output? 190. Desirable. So we didn't give any exception handling. So if you can just try it with the sample outputs, that should be fine. Let me try one more. So this time I'm going to give 150 and 250. Okay. Okay, so I'm reading the problem again, right? And in addition to the finites of our sleep, you have to get the input age and a conditional statement. Getting like first check whether the person is an adult, 18 or older. That is the first check condition. After that, we have to check the appropriate sleep timing. Okay, so I have given the link. According to this table, younger adult, that is 18 to 25, and adult, that is 26 to 64, sleep, that is 7 to 9. If the person sleeps for 7 hours, 8 hours, or 9 hours, like 7, less than 7 is going to be too little, greater than 9 is going to be too much, and then 7 to 9 is going to be normal. Okay, these are the three classifications. And if you look at the table, there are two cases. Young adult and adult can be, okay, sorry. Young adult and adult can be of case 1 category, and then the more than 65, that is going to be case 2 category. That is, case 2 category. Okay. So for that, there is a minute changes in terms of hours of sleep. So with this scenario, let's start writing the code. So first thing, you have to get all the inputs, right? So first, let's get inputs. It can be float or int. The age can, maybe let's say age is an integer. Int, input, enter the age. Okay, and then let's say day 1 sleep. That can be float. Someone can say that it is 6.5 or 7.5. So let's say it is float. Let's say enter day 1 sleep hours. Okay. So this is for a variable day 1. And then likewise, we are going to do day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5. Okay, so this is input part. Next part, we are going to find out average of sleep. For that, let's take these variables. Five divided by 5, that will give the average of sleep, which we are going to process as one of the conditions. Okay, so average of sleep will be calculated here. Next, if age is less than 18, the entered age is less than 18, then colon and indentation, and we are going to say print, you must be an adult to participate. Okay, so just a display message. So that is done. If it is LF, that means if the age is greater than 18, in that condition, we can say, we can consider that as LF. Okay, because obviously that is the else condition. Age is greater than 18. So in that case, we are going to check one more thing. Whether the age is greater than or equal to 18 and also age is less than 65. Because 18 to 64 has the same category like young adult and adult. So we are combining these two. 18, greater than 18 and less than 64. Okay, that is one condition. And also average sleep. Okay, we have calculated the average and kept it in the variable. So that average of sleep is less than 7. We can say, first let's print average sleep. Average sleep. We are going to print out that average value. After that, we are going to say 7 means it is too little, right? Type too little. Okay, so first scenario is done. What can be the second case? You can just copy it and give the second case in the same case one, second scenario. What is the second scenario? If it is greater than 9, then it is too much. Sleep type is too much. Okay, so that is the second scenario of case 1. And there is a third scenario which is normal as per the table 7, 8, 9. In this window, it is normal. So how can we say that? For that, we have to add a condition. If the average is greater than or equal to 7 and can you complete less than or equal to 9. So in this case, we can say it is normal because it is under the limit. Normal. Okay. So this is for case 1. But we have to consider the case 2 where 7 to, it is not 7 to 8, it is 7 to 9, it is 7 to 8. So we have to display that case. So that is going to be case 2. So how can we specify case 2? Here the condition is LF, but it is not in this condition. It is going to be greater than 65. Okay, so let's say A is greater than or equal to 65 and average sleep is less than 7. You can combine it and say it is too little. Okay. And then case 2, second scenario, greater than 9 or greater than 8, even greater than 8 is too much, right? So according to the table. So greater than 8 is too much. Last scenario that we can say, uh, here you have to combine multiple combinations, right? So you can add one more combination. Average is greater than or equal to 7 and average is less than or equal to 8. Then it is normal. Okay. So with all these conditions, if we run the code, okay, let me connect it again. Give me a minute. I have to copy and paste all the code. Okay, so if I run everything, I didn't get the age here. I might have typed it here, but yeah. Okay, if I run it again, this invalid syntax in line number 35. Okay, here I have two parentheses open, but I have closed only one. That could be the reason. Okay, age, let's say 30. Soft sleep, let's say 7, 8, 5, 6, 7. So it says 6.6. When it is less than 7, it will say too little. So you can check the other conditions as well. For greater than 65, you can give check or not more conditions to see every condition is getting covered. Problem number 5 actually. So we are going to do the same thing in command line prompt later on, but you can leave it now. The next problem, we'll focus on the next problem. Write a program that takes quarterly sales for an organization over a year and calculates total sales. The output should change according to the sales entered. Add try except block as an indication of whether the total sales are low, medium, or high. Also, is a warning message in the event that sales are under 20,000. If the sales entered are numeric, you have to give a warning message. Use try except else block to indicate that the application only takes numeric input. So you have to use try except. Remember, you have done the try except thing in the second problem. You have to do the same thing. Consider use try. Where a problem may be there, try block. And when the problem is there, when the problem occur, when an issue occur, what you have to deal, how you have to deal, that should be in the except block. When there is no issue at all, how a problem, like how a code should progress, that should be in the else block. Okay, so I will explain it in detail. Okay, so when the problem is given, always I will give the output, how the output is supposed to look. So if you look at the output, you have to enter, you have to let the user to enter the quarterly sales amounts, and then Also, whatever the sales, that amount is entered, you have to display the output like this. So you have to write the code for that. And also you have to write the code to enter the total that you're going to calculate, that should be displayed like that. And then finally, the message, whether it is medium, low, or high, the three messages, okay, according to this, low, medium, high. So that message should be displayed. Okay, that is the problem requirement. So maybe we can simply enter the message like this. Enter quarterly sales. And this doesn't need to be in the try part because there is no, it is simply a prompt. Okay, so it doesn't need to be in the try. The try should have the inputs, only the entered inputs may be different, right? So let's say Q1 input Q Q3, sorry, Q3 okay, so it's going to be Q2, Q3, and Q4. Okay, so these are quarterly inputs. This should be in try because there may be error here. And when that happens, when the error occurs, then how to react? So according, I didn't say anything specific. Then you can say, please enter only numeric inputs. Okay, like that. And then when there is no such error in a normal flow, how a code should react, that should be in the else part. So here, first let's calculate the total. The total is Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. That is the total amount. And then as per the output, if you look at the output, verify the output, it should say like this, quarterly sales. So that should be an output message with string concatenation, right? So I asked you to fill it yourself. By this time, you should be familiar with the string concatenation. So you have to do the output like quarterly sales, dollar value, string concatenation, string of Q1, then concatenation with dollar value, also dollar. It's a good practice for you. Okay. Then again, string concatenation, string of Q2, then completed. Again, quotation, comma, dollar, then concatenation, string of Q3, then plus concatenation, dollar, string of Q4. Okay. So $4 symbols are there. This one for Q1 and this one for Q2 and this for Q3 and this one is for Q4. Okay. So this is how it is supposed to display the output. So we have done some string concatenation here. And then it should say the total sales. That we have to write the code for that. It's again a print statement. And the print statement, total sales, dollar, string concatenation, string total. Okay, so this is for total. Now we have to look at the conditions. So what are the conditions? First thing, if the total is less than 20,000, 4 zeros, then what we have to say? Print. It should say warning also. If you look at the read the problem, look at the problem. Also issue a warning message in the event that sales are under 20,000. So they have specifically mentioned that for very low 20,000 less, you have to give a warning message. So before giving the warning message, let's say sales low. Why? Because that is how we want to display the message. It should say sales colon and the value. Sales low. And in addition to that, we have to give a warning message. Warning. Need to improve sales. Okay. So that is done. Then elif. Be conscious in this. This should be the indentation. That means this is part of else block. So all these things should have same indentation level. So be conscious with the indentation, or else you will get error. Total, when it is less than 50,000 and when the total is greater than or equal to 20,000, even 20,000, that value, you have to say it is low. Okay, less than 20 means we need to improve. Then in other cases, it should say it is low. If the total is less than 150, greater than or equal to 50, then print sales medium. If the total is greater than or equal to 150,000, then you can say high. Okay, so it has three components. First one, to get the input which is in try, and then except when there may be error, how to react to that error. And then in a normal flow, how the code should react, that should be in the else spot. So inside the else, we're calculating total and displaying these messages for the amounts and total. And then here you're giving the condition. According to that, you're saying whether it is low, mid, or high. So when I run this, it asks for the amounts. Okay, I'm going to give the amounts what is given in the lab manual. 3,000, 35,000, 20,000, 50,000. Then according to the output that you asked it to enter, the print output string concatenation, accordingly it will just display the output and will give the output according to the condition. Here it is high. So let's read the problem once again. Write a program that takes the military time format, and the program should display the appropriate message based on the enter time, saying like good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. So that message should be displayed based on the time that it recognizes. And the entered input should be in the military format, which is like if it is 12 p.m., then it should be 1200, like that. Okay. So how to write the code for that? First, okay, you can ask the user to enter the input. Time is the variable. Integer. Get the input from the user. enter the time in military format. Okay, with the prompt message. And after that, to make it even, we can just have it in that 1200, 1300 itself and process it, or else we can convert that time to the normal hours that normally we will use. We can convert that. For that, see here, we are just taking the integer. Okay, just to take the integer. If you want to ignore the decimal notation, use double slash. So it will just take the integer. Okay. So after this, the hover variable is just going to have only the integer. Now we are going to process when the hover is greater than or equal to 0 and when the hover is less than 5, I think we can also add this. And let's try this in this way. There are multiple ways that you can do this. Let's try this. And 19 less than greater than 90, that is after 7 p.m. that will be 19, and less than 24, that is 12 p.m. So we are just splitting it into 4 pieces. Before midnight, 12 a.m. to morning 5, okay, and then evening 7 to midnight. So in all these cases, we can say print good night. If morning, if it is after 5, that is after 5 a.m. and before noon, that is less than 12. In that case, we can say good morning. If the hour is greater than or equal to 12 and evening means before evening, that means less than 16. Then we can say good afternoon. Finally, we can say if it is evening to 7 p.m., that means hour greater than or equal to 16 and hour less than 7 p.m., that is 19, then we can say print evening. So let's see how it works. Let's try this first one. Let's say it is 4. Okay, it doesn't take it. It doesn't take the multiple conditions. Let me go back and mention it as a separate condition. Okay, just takes it in that way. There are multiple, you can just combine this here, but let's keep it simple. I'm just giving it as multiple ellipses on different time frame. So that gets that. Let me try it one more time for 12 or 00. Just gets confused with the 0. Say 1 a.m. midnight. Okay, takes it as. Okay, so that's about problem number 7. Let's read the next problem. Read the problem once again. We have to get 10%. We are getting 10% discount if the total cost of purchase is 800. Each item in the in the store is $100. And what we need to get, how many items they have purchased, that we have to get first, and then we have to find the total cost, and then we have to find whether it is greater than 800. Based on that, we have to give the discount. So how can we write the code for that? First thing, the problematic code could be in getting the input. What if they give A or B for number of purchases? It should be always integer. So the problem may be here in the input. So that we are saying except input, enter number of purchases. And then in, tripod, it should be in the tripod. And then in the except part, we have to give the error message. If that happens, how to deal with that? We are saying, please enter a numeric input. Okay. And then in the else part, we have to give the normal code. The else part, cost equal to n into 100, because each and every item in the store is $100. So we can say the cost equal to n into 100. And then here we can give the condition, the cost is greater than 800. And this condition is true, we can say discount equal to cost into 0.1. Just be conscious with the space indentation, because that is the block, right? So you have to say after this if there should be double indentation, should be in the same block, where cost equal to total cost minus discount. And then we have to say print, you get a discount of dollar amount, string concatenation, convert that discount amount to string, and your total cost is dollar string total cost. If you look at the output, that's what you want to do, right? You get a discount of this for your total cost this, okay? So that's what we have to give. You're done with that. Come out of that else if block in the same level of if, specify else, print no discount. Your total is dollar string concatenation total cost. Okay, tripod, except part. In the else part, you will give the normal flow of the code where you have given two conditions. If the purchase is greater than 800, how to deal with that? If the purchase is less than 800, how to deal with that? Okay. So if I run this code, it says enter the number of purchases. So when I say 6, so it says no discount, your total is 600. Let me run it again. When I say 15, then it says you get a discount of $150 for your total cost is. Did I give 15? For that, it should say 1,500. Yeah, 1,500 minus 150. It says $1,350 after reducing the cost. Okay, that should be the output. Write a program that takes 3 numbers, determine the maximum and minimum among them. You're not allowed to use min max function. Okay, so just get 3 numbers, any 3 numbers, do the comparison by using conditional operation less than or equal to, use that and see which is greater. Whatever is greater based on the input, it should say the maximum for the greater value and minimum for the lesser value. Okay, so see how many conditions that you have to write for this. There are the normal way. Python has a built-in function called max and min will do this job for us. But for this particular problem, you're not going to use max min operation function. You're going to do it manually. Okay, so for this problem, you don't need to use try except. Okay, you can simply consider that the user enters the proper values. Okay, so since we are getting 3 values, we can get it one by one separately because it's been the different variables as a different variable. So we can just prompt the user to enter 3 values, and then the entered values will be saved as A. It can be int or float. We can say that it's float. And B, C, and maximum amount, first let's say that it is 0. And also minimum amount, we can say it is 0. In other languages, we'll say it is 0, but Python has a way to handle it. Python can handle none because Python has this none operate as a keyword. So in other languages, normally we will say maximum and minimum will be 0. But in Python, we can say it can be none. That means initially we are creating a variable. This is temporary variable we are creating. And this is like a temporary place. First, we are checking whether A is greater. If A feels like bigger, then we will put that A in the temporary variable. Or else we will throw away and put the next value. So it's a temporary space. So similarly, minimum is also temporary. So we are just creating a temporary variable and assigning no value to that variable. Okay. So here, then we are checking whether A is greater than equal to. It is possible, right? It can be the same number. So in that case, and A is greater than or equal to C. In that case, print, in that case, we have to say maximum value, the temporary value is going to be A. L if we can say B is greater than or equal to A and B is greater than or equal to C. That case, we are going to say the maximum value is going to be B. L if C is greater than or equal to A and C is greater than or equal to B. That case, we are going to say maximum equal to C. The same thing we are going to do it for minimum. We can say A is less than or equal to B and A is less than or equal to C. Then minimum is going to be A. The spaces are not regular, consistent. You can maintain a consistent space. L if B is less than or equal to A and B is less than or equal to C. Minimum B. L if C is less than or equal to A and C is less than or equal to B. That case, minimum is going to be C. So just a logical understanding. Okay. And then whatever the maximum minimum value, we are going to say print max is going to be. So the people who has written the max and min function to be written, they might be doing something like this with the basic conditional operation. Okay, so this is the code. Okay, let me run it. 12, 13, oh, sorry. 13, 4. So we say max equal to 14, that is it works. Number, we are getting the number, prompting the input, converting it into integer, then checking whether the number is less than 0 to see whether it is minus or plus. If it is plus, you can simply print it as it is. If it is minus, that is negative number, then we have to multiply it with -1. Okay. So that is the last problem.